first memory of skating was obviously back in the 80s. Got introduced... Oh, actually, no, I lie. My first memory of skating was with my brother, and that was back in the 70s. Holding on to a little board on the back of a motorbike with a ski rope, going down a mountain, going down a hill, and coming to gutser. You know, it was pretty bad. You know, it took all the skin off my elbows and standard sort of stuff. I was like 10. And never really I gave it away after that. That was just like, yeah, that was a nasty memory. But, and then I think it sort of all kicked off in the 80s when, for me, it was, you know, it was the Tony Hawks and the McGills and all those guys that sort of like went, oh, what's that all about? You know, and my first board was Jeff Kendall, to be honest with you. Yeah, I couldn't actually afford a board, but my first board was Jeff Kendall, and I loved it. And yeah, and I don't know whether I continue on or not, but in a small town where I come from, a small country town, Kyneton, it was actually, skating was unheard of. So me and one of my best mates decided to get into this skateboarding thing, and you know, thought we were cool, but we didn't have ramps or anything to, you know, our curbs were bluestone, you know, just bluestone blocks. We didn't have anything like that. So learning tricks were really, at the time, seemed really hard, but they're probably the most basic thing you could do now, you know, and just like getting up onto a bluestone curb about that high, and it was just nothing, but we thought we were so cool back then, you know, so yeah. And then, so we did that for ages and just practiced doing board slides and, you know, up on park benches and all those sorts of things. And, you know, back then the cess slide was huge. It was a massive thing. And it was funny and doing handstands, you know, just rolling down and doing that sort of thing. And we used to travel to Melton Skate Park, and go there and it sort of like honed, you know, that was our sort of first experience of skating bowls or anything like that. And yeah, that was pretty cool, but there wasn't in Kyneton, there wasn't a big following of skateboarding. And you couldn't buy a skateboard in Kyneton of all places, but you had to go to Melbourne. And I remember, and I was still actually talking about it today, one of the guys that actually really influenced me was Chris Payne. And I remember when he was working at the skate shop and just looking at this guy going, wow, you're so cool, blah, blah, blah. And he was a musician as well and all those sorts of things. We never actually personally knew each other, but I just like, and I remember seeing him in all the magazines and all those sorts of things and going, wow, that's awesome. And going to Paran and watching like the original ramp Paran and watching all those guys and me and my mate who we were trying to start skateboarding in Kyneton, and he went there and tried to drop in for the first time and got knocked out. You know, I got lots of memories like that. And then, you know, when we started it, and then there was these kids that were sort of like just starting to follow us around, and they just took off. They really took off, like Wang Fung and all those crew, you know, Wang Fung is, and yeah, and it was really funny. We thought we were cool because, yeah, we were sort of like ollieing over little curbs and all those sorts of things, which I can't seem to do now. Obviously, I'm not as flexible with my skating now, but the irony is we didn't have anything like what you see today, and you had to just make do with. We were building little jump ramps, little launch ramps all the time, and taking them out in the street. I broke both my wrists and both my ankles. I hit a chalky, went flying over a jump ramp. It was like something out of slow motion, just flying over. I still remember it to that day. Yeah, so I did that, and then we discovered, you know, there was this thing called half pipes, and we used to, like the stand, like everybody else, go and raid work sites and pinch all this timber and build these dodgy bloody half pipes in one of our mates' backyards. There was probably about 5 of us that we had this crew of 5 skaters that used to go out in the middle of the night and skate. Downhill was our thing, because that's where we used to get the most speed, because we were always looking for speed. There was nothing else we could get speed from, so we had one hill that we used to skate down. And I remember we got chased by the police skating down this hill. You know, he was hiding in the bushes. It was quite funny, but and then, you know, like these guys like Taris and Wang Feng and all of his mates, they just took skating to another level that we just couldn't comprehend what they were doing. You know, that was, you know, rail slides and all those sorts of things were just huge at the time. And I remember the only sort of rail that these guys had to, you know, to slide on was like about this long. It wasn't long at all. You know, it was just this time, and that was at our school. You know, but these kids were going up there and practicing on this little tiny thing. It was pretty high, but it wasn't very long at all. You know, and so that's sort of when we used to make videos, and, you know, thinking we were cool, and, you know, and we used to follow the old Bones Brigade Animal Chin video, you know, and like really focused on all the sort of, especially in the street section, because we didn't have, like I said, we didn't have all the ramps. So when we saw Animal Chin and it had, you know, the launch ramp scene and all that sort of, we were trying wall rides and all those sorts of things, and it was great. It was so cool, and you know, we hurt ourselves so many times, and yeah, it was a great time in my life, and everything was at night. We always skated at night. I think I knocked over a grandmother once by accident. Yeah, like all those. I don't have a first memory. All my memories are all of the 80s and when I was in my prime of, you know, like I'm 45, 46 this year, you know. And then I stopped. So when did I stop? Really weird. You know, I'm kicking myself that I don't know what happened. Why did skateboarding leave my life? Because if skateboarding, if this wasn't in my life now, I think it was 25 years when I stopped, or something like that. And I probably, you know, what do I do with my life? You know, I do all sorts of things. I do great things, but I didn't have any sort of inner soul happiness, something that I could do for myself and away from the norm. And then I ran into Wang Feng, who I've known for a long time. And I had no idea that he was still skating, you know. And it's like, when he told me, I said, "You kidding me? You're too old," right? And that was me saying that to him. I said, "You're too old for that," right? And then he goes, "No, you try it, man." So I don't know why, but I did. I got my son's board. My son had a board in his cupboard. I grabbed that. And I said to him, "Oh, can I just try your board?" And I was out in my back, like I just got a concrete area out the back, and tried my first ollie, and God knows, yeah, in so long, fell off straight away, hurt me, landed on my elbow and all that sort of thing. And then there was something about it, and then I sort of like went, you know what, I need to do this, and the most embarrassing time in my life, because I was going for a really hard time. I was probably hit a bit of depression and all that sort of thing. And I decided I'm going to take a board and I'm going to go to the local park, McIver Road. And I remember all the kids looking at me going, "Who's this old guy? What's he doing?" And I remember like cars going past looking, what's that old guy doing down the park? But I was down there on my own, and I just started pumping and learning to balance again. And I was on the completely wrong board, you know. And it's funny how like now I didn't realise how much more there is to know about skateboarding and all those things. But anyway, getting back to the story, I was rolling around and realised that, hey, I've got some balance. Then I started asking questions, and I started talking to to Wang Feng, and he encouraged me to keep going and keep going. And it was just the most bizarrest thing. And then for some reason, it lit this fire inside of me that I just wanted to do it all the time. And I didn't feel stressed. I didn't want to. Basically, skateboarding saved me. It saved me big time. I was pretty much on the way of, or down there, wherever you want to take it. And then Wang Feng started introducing me to this network of guys that were all in the same boat. And I was just like, what is this about? What? And they encouraged me. They encouraged me to keep going and keep going. And they're closer to me than my own family. I've met people that I'd never dreamt that I thought I'd meet. Back in the 80s, I used to idolise guys like, you know, Tony Hallam and all those guys, and like you'd only ever see them in a magazine. For me personally, because you live in a country town, you don't get to the city that often. But I had posters of all those guys on my wall, up on my ceiling, you know, just looking up at them and dreaming about it. I remember that really clearly. Looking at all those guys and going, wow, one day I'd love to be able to do that. But then I've actually started meeting these guys that, you know, that I used to idolise, and I'm going, it's just set this fire alight inside me, and I'm so happy about where I am and where skateboarding has taken me. And I've never been to so many parks in my life, but yet all I want to do is get in a car and go and discover all these new places and all the rad skaters that skate there, and you know, and like you've only got to look at today. Look at all the radness that's going on here. It's amazing, and seeing these guys at jolts, because you forget about all those, even all the skate talk and all those sorts of things, you know, and watching all the young ones interact with the older guys, and we're all learning off each other, you know. You've only got to take a good look around and see the love that's getting around here. And I think, you know, the love is shared when guys like Wang Feng decides he's going to find my original board for me, my Jeff Kendall Blue Stain. He found my graffiti, and I just couldn't believe it, you know. He got that for me, and I owe him a lot, you know. And I owe him for introducing me to guys like, you know, all the Boss crew, you know, because yeah, I live and breathe Bendigo old school skaters. I'd do anything for them. Absolutely, I'm dedicated, whatever. But now, you know, like I said, I feel like I'm skating better, and I never used to skate vert or any type of. We didn't have a half pipe, and now I get to do these things, and I feel more confident. I was confident until I broke my leg, straight through, tib and fib. Snapped it, and I love the fact that with skateboarding it pushes you to your limits. It pushes you, and you just get curious about how much you can do. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that. It's just something that I wanted to do for me, because I had this. For me, it just keeps me sane. Because I was losing it. And so, you know, I snapped my leg straight through at the park in Geelong on the, you know, that's I've never been on a ramp that big before, and curiosity got the better of me. And I might add, I did make it. I did make the drop in. That's all I was doing was dropping in. 3 times I made it. It was the 4th time I come unstuck. It was the re-entry that snapped my leg. And the irony of it all is so I've got this metal rod in my leg permanently. But I reckon even after now that I've broken my leg, I reckon I'm skating better now. Which is, I don't know what it is, but it just gives me the confidence to just keep going. If you just like, you know, looking death in the eye, I guess, and having no fear. And I don't really have that. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm getting higher. I'm getting higher now than I ever did. I'm kissing the steel better than I ever did. And I'm being encouraged by this bunch of amazing guys. Yeah, I don't know. I love them. I absolutely love skateboarding. I love the people that I've met. I've been, you know, look, it's 25 years. Over 20 years since I skated, and I've been back in now. I've been back skating now for about 3 years. And no regrets. I love the fact now that people still, you know, people say to you, when I first started, people said, "What are you doing? You're too old." And I'm going, "Well, what are you doing? Knitting." You know, like, it's, if you want to sit around and be boring, that's up to you. And admittedly, I was embarrassed at first about skating, you know, but then I went, nah, I have to do this. I don't know what, something just pulled me in and I just had to do it. And now those people that mocked me, those people, the other old people that mocked me and said you shouldn't be doing that, and now going, "Oh, we love your skateboard, we love the videos that you post, oh, how can we get involved?" And it's like, that's cool if you want to get involved, but you know, age is no barrier. It's hell no. Then I love the fact that I'm, you know, going on 46, and to be honest with you, I don't think that's old. A lot of the guys that I associate with now are a lot older and still shredding it, you know, Peter Rowe and all those guys, you know, Tony Helms, all those guys, are absolutely killing it. And when I see guys like that, I can't wait to hit 50. I just can't wait to see where I'm at and see if I'm still killing it. And I think I will. I'm really confident. I'm probably a little bit too cocky, I don't know. But I sort of feel like I've built up my own style in the way that I skate. I'm just a carver, I guess. Don't do many tricks, but I make it fun. And, you know, what a life. What a life that we get to do this. We get to hang out in these cool parks. And, you know, it's not everybody could say they've done this. Not everybody could say it. But you can do it if you wanted to. If you're passionate enough, you can do fucking amazing things. And, you know, for me, this is an amazing thing.